I said, okay, do you have a Quran? Can I have one? Because I believed that a religion was justified by its book. If your religion is true, it must be justified by its book. There must be something concrete, not just what you say or what this person does or what this person says. There must be something concrete that I can have passed down to me, that I can pass down to someone else, that validifies this religion, that validates it. So I asked them for a Quran. And when I started reading the Quran, in the first 2 chapters, I started getting to names that I remembered. I started reading the story of Moses, the story of David, the story of Jesus, the story of Harun, of Abraham. And what I realized that these stories were different than any story I've ever seen in the Bible. These taught that these people were at the highest echelon of the society. They were at the highest peak of morality. They were the people to be followed. They were the guiding example. Not only did they command the people to do good, they were the living example of it. And this to me was what made sense. This was what I was looking for. This was the people that I could follow. These were prophets. This was what I could call a prophet. So needless to say, I kept reading through the Quran, but I had given my heart to this book after the second or third chapter. I had said to myself that I don't care what this religion is, but if this is the book that justifies it, I want to be whatever these people are. And I want to be whatever this book tells me I need to be. And I would read in the book that it said that Allah has called us Muslims. So I said, I'm a Muslim. All alone in my room, I said, I'm a Muslim. And I went back to the mosque the next day. Three days later. I read the whole Quran from beginning to end in 3 days. And I went back to the mosque because I wanted to be a Muslim. And I knocked on the door and it was locked. Muslims always come. Muslims only come to the mosque on Fridays in 1998, except on Fridays. So the guy at the gas station told me, he said, if you're looking for the Muslims, they'll be back on Friday. Alhamdulillah now, alhamdulillah, they have 5 salah a day in the masjid in Jackson. I mean in Greenville, South Carolina. They have an Islamic school there. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to God.
So I was fine, life was good. And then some years later, alhamdulillah, Allah destined that I would be introduced to a Muslim who himself was a revert, and he was running some Islamic classes at his center. And I was very surprised because he became Muslim when he was a teenager, and by that time he had been Muslim 30 over years, and he was having classes in English. So first of all, that was a shock to me because I thought Islam is Malay, right? How come there's Chinese people like teaching Islam in English? So, and then I went to the classes, and then there was like, oh, it's all Chinese people. And then I saw, oh, Indians. And then I saw Mat Saleh. So for the first time, it struck me that Islam was not Malay. And then I said, okay, fine, let me go find out what it's all about. And frankly, I was shocked. I was very, very shocked to discover what I discovered about Islam. It answered questions which I never thought to even ask myself. And that when I realized, when I had the answers to it, and I realized if I had asked, I couldn't find the answers anywhere else. And I can tell you, I'm a lawyer by training, by the way, so I am trained to think logically. I am trained to ask a lot of questions, and I'm trained to never be satisfied with anything that is illogical. So if you try to tell me something, if I try to ask you something and you answer me something shady or wishy-washy and say something like, you know, it's kind of like this, but anyway, don't ask too much, you just believe, that is something that I would never have been able to accept. And Islam, the Islam that I was taught, the Islam that I knew, encouraged questions. It was never afraid of questions, like in case, you know, they didn't have the answer. And to me, that meant it was true, right? Every question that I had, they always had the answer. And the answers were so logical, reasonable, and amazing that every time, the more I asked, the more I was sure that this religion is from the one who made me, the one who created me.
Are you too nervous to recite something?
I'm not too nervous to recite something.
All right.
You like me to recite? What would you like me to recite?
Your favorite ayah?
My favorite? Let me think. Okay. I don't know. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Takbir. It's a reminder for all of us that, there are no excuses. Robert can learn Quran from where he is, no Muslims around him, just dedication. And
That's
then Allah
true.
opens the door,
Yeah, I like to say if you have problems, just, I've never studied Arabic or anything like that in my life. I understand that there are some people, Muslims, who grew up maybe in a Muslim home, they don't even know Arabic. I mean, it's not hard to learn Quran. Get on there and just try, and don't give up. It's not hard. I mean, it starts off, you think, oh, this is the hardest thing in the world for me to do. I can't do this. But no, it's not. Just sit there and listen, go along with the recitation. And then, eventually, what I did was I went and I learned the Arabic alphabet. And now, I can find out how to pronounce the words correctly. So when I'm reciting, most of the time I say it correctly. I know my accent's not very good, but I took Shahada in, it was September of 2011. When I woke up from the dream that I had, I lay there and I thought to myself that, I had to gather everything together, and I said, that was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then I had already learned Shahada and everything, so right there in my bed, I just, without even thinking, I was just, I said, I was like, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. And then from there.
Can you tell us some of your story? I mean, we've heard stints of it, but
Just tell them the dream.
Oh, you want to know about my dream?
Yes.
All right. Well, actually, like in the dream, what it was I was kind of standing there. It was odd because most of my dreams, I have now since I'm paralyzed. In my dreams, my legs hurt. They feel like tree trunks, and I can't move, and I'm in pain because I guess I'm dreaming because I'm in pain. But this time I was just standing there, and then a little around the way from me, I'd say about 20 feet or so away to my left. I was in a desertous area. There were like sand dunes a little, and to my left there was a group of men gathered around a person who was standing up talking to them, and it was by firelight because it was almost nighttime. Wasn't quite dark, but it was dark enough for a fire, and they had it going, and you could tell these men were listening to him intently. So I was like, okay, well, this man's very important. And then also to my right was the crucifix setting up that I had in my room, but it was like life size. And I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, what's going on, And then suddenly the man, he was standing there and he was giving hand gestures. You could tell he was talking and saying something very important. And when he had turned to me and he looked at me and he says, look, he pointed to the crucifix and he said, look, this was a man, a prophet, He'd eat food, drink water, go to the bathroom just like every other man. He's not a god, only a prophet. Just, follow God, not men. And then I woke up, and then it wasn't so long after I woke up and gathered myself. Because right when he turned to me and talked to me and told me that, I knew right then and there it was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then, I mean, I woke up, and then, like I said, I had to gather myself to figure like, what just happened, and that was real. Because at this time, I had been studying about Islam and everything, and I had learned the Shahada and other things, but I hadn't taken it yet. But then that time, I woke up, and I just, right there by myself, I did it, you know. Yeah.
One of my friends, one of my close friends, who's a Christian, would you believe, said, "Tell me the religions that you've investigated." So I went through them. I said, Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, Buddhism, Hinduism, He goes, "What about Islam?" I go, "Islam? I go, they're terrorists. I'm not going to investigate that religion. They're crazy. Why would I even look at that religion?" But lo and behold, I found myself walking into a mosque one day. This was my eternal quest. So I walked straight in, shoes on, straight across the prayer road. There was a brother praying. I walked straight in front of him. As he went to go into sujood, I almost stepped on his head. Subhanallah, I didn't have any clue what I was doing. I looked over and I saw this brother. You probably know this guy. This is Abu Hamza. He's come here and he's lectured a few times. Subhanallah, I call him Abu Da'an because he's got a very large beard, mashallah. He came walking out towards me and I thought, today I'm about to die. This is the last day of my life. I'm a dead man. I'm a white boy in Lebland. What am I going to do here? I'm dead. He came walking across as though he just walked out of the Sahara Desert. Big abaya, big beard. But subhanAllah, the first words he said were, "G'day mate, how you going?" If only he had the can of VB, it would have been perfect. SubhanAllah, I was very taken aback by his welcoming nature. So when I walked across and I saw Abu Hamza and he was talking to me in a very polite fashion, which I was very thankful for because I was sure I'd seen him on the 5 o'clock news hijacking a plane the day before. Now, Aussies are hospitable, don't get me wrong, but Lebos are the most hospitable people I've ever come across. And as the brother Hamza was saying, these brothers were making me cups of tea, and I honestly needed to keep going to the toilet every 5 minutes. They just kept putting tea in front of me, biscuits. I'd never seen anything like it. And I think to some degree I kept coming back for the biscuits, but also for the religion. And one night I decided to really try and get the spiritual mood happening, and I'm sure probably some of you have heard this story before, so I apologise. I'd lit a candle, I had the window open, I had the curtains drawn, I was trying to get that really spiritual feeling. It was a nice summer night in Melbourne, as summer as it can get in Melbourne, and I was sitting there thinking, this is it, this is the night. I'd been, investigating all the spiritual proofs, all the scientific proofs about the fact that the mountains are the pegs, about, how the embryo develops inside, the woman, all these amazing proofs, but I still needed that little push. It's like I was on the edge of a cliff, I was ready to jump, I just needed a push. So I was sitting there, it was very quiet. I was reading Quran, and I stopped. I said, Allah, this is my moment. This is the time I'm about to jump into Islam. All I need is just a sign. Just a little sign, nothing huge, maybe a bolt of lightning. Maybe half the house could fall down or something, just small. Small for you, man. You created the earth, come on. So I sat there. I was waiting for the candle to start gliding up to 4 meters high like in the movies. And I go, okay, go. And subhanAllah, nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. I was really disappointed, to be honest. So I sat there and I said, Allah, this is your chance. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I'll give you another chance. Okay, maybe you're busy. I know it's daytime over the other side of the world. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. Maybe this time it could just be like a car backfiring. Something small. All right, half the house, the candle. Let's forget that. A bird could fart outside. I don't care. Just anything. So I said, okay, go. subhanallah, absolutely nothing happened. And I mean, I couldn't have even said, oh, that was it. That creep just then in the wall, that was it. Absolutely nothing happened. I was really disappointed. I was gutted. I was sitting there thinking, this is it, you know, this was my last chance, Islam, and I haven't found it. I pulled back the Quran, I turned back to where I was reading. SubhanAllah, the very next verse on the next page, for those of you who ask for signs, have we not shown you enough already? Look around you, look at the stars, look at the sun, look at water. These are the signs for the people of knowledge. SubhanAllah. I threw the doona over my head and I pretended I was asleep. I was that scared because I couldn't believe how arrogant I'd been to want my own specific sign when all the signs had been there for me all along. The fact that we have this world, the fact that there is this creation, these are the signs for all of us. The next day I decided this is it, I'm becoming a Muslim. I'd been investigating Islam now for probably about 6 months, to be honest. I went in and I said to myself, this is it, I'm going to make shahada. I had no idea what I had to say, I had no idea what the words were. It was probably close to Isha prayer, so it would have been, 7, 8 o'clock at night. I went in and I couldn't believe it, there was about 1,000 people at the mosque. I thought, subhanAllah, look at this religion. Look at how strong they are. It was the first night of Ramadan. Ramadan Muslims. So I sat there and I was very nervous, I must admit. I got up and this person's going to me, you got to say these words, bro, ashhadu. I'm going, what? Ash what? Can't I just say it in English? No, they say, no, you got to say it in Arabic. And I thought, looked out over the sea of beards that I could see in front of me and I thought, if I get these words wrong, I'm a dead man. Again, I had this fear, And they were staring at me, and I don't know if you know this, but Australians can't stare. Lebanese people can stare. So I was sitting there, I was very scared. I got up, and subhanAllah, as soon as I started to say the words, all fear went out of my mind. It felt as though a shower was inside my head and someone had just turned on the cold tap. Felt like I'd been flushed clean. I said the words, and I wasn't expecting so many brothers to come up and yell, Takbir, Allahu Akbar, and start kissing me and hugging me. Now, I'd never been kissed by that many men in my life.